you can see on this I've already started to do some hooking, but don't worry, I'm going to show you how to make those stitches. The first thing that I've done is actually put my piece of hessian into an embroidery hoop. That keeps it nice and secure, it makes it easier to hold while you're working, and it also keeps the stitches nice and even. Hooky really does need to be in a hoop. If your design gets a bit thick when you're getting towards the last few bits, don't worry, take it out of the hoop. But if you can use it for as long as possible, it does make your life easier. The first thing you need to do after that is to cut yourself some fleece to work with. Now fleece has a bit of a stretch in one direction, so we'll cut in the direction where it doesn't stretch, and we're cutting approximately, I'll move it along a bit, strips 1 centimetre wide. Use a cutting board, use a ruler. I'm marking it up with tailor's chalk, as this is easy to see, but it does rub off really easily. Doesn't matter if it's not perfect, but if you can keep to about 1 centimetre, it does keep your hooking nice and even. So mark your mark your fleece, and then cut your strips. Try to use the whole length of your scissors rather than just snipping away with the edge. It's worth spending the time to cut it properly. I've already cut some white ones, so I'm going to show you how to use the hook. Now, to hook you can use many types of tool, but we're providing you with a latch hook. The way you work, now if you're right or left-handed, adjust to suit yourself and be most comfortable. I'm right-handed, I'll have the hook in my right hand, but underneath the fabric I'm going to hold a long strip that we've just cut. Push the latch hook through until the latch comes all the way underneath, then this is quite exaggerated. Grab the fabric with the hook, pull your end all the way through. It's supposed to be sticking out. When we hook, we keep all the ends to the top to stop pulling out. Go down again, grab your fleece in this case, pull it through with the shank of the hook, and then pull your latch hook out, and you'll see you've created a loop. Now that's all there is to it. Move a few threads along on the hessian and then create another hook loop with your hook. If you see, the front is loopy, but when you turn it over, the back, the stitching looks a little bit more straight. You don't need to put a stitch in every hole. In fact, you need to leave some gaps, and that allows the hessian to stay nice and flat and not contract too much. If you want to start another row or another colour, you can just start in the same hole that you finished. Changing colours is really easy, and all your little tails can be cut off at the end. The main thing is, don't make your work too tight. I'm going to show you on here where I've hooked the design, I've changed colours. I've already trimmed some of the top, but I'm going to show you how to trim. If you use the flat edge of your scissors and cut like this. Now if you have a few areas where, like I do here, I've got a start and a finish together, you can cut them together, but I do sometimes prefer to cut them with a separate movement, because then I just find they disappear down into the pile a little bit more easily. So trim it up so it's nice and smooth, that your edges have gone, and on the back you can see the way the loops have been done in different directions, and that's to reflect a cloud design, to reflect waves, or you can fill in straight lines. Totally up to you, as long as you leave some gaps between your stitches. The next thing to do will be to remove your edges. I can take off my pink tape. It doesn't matter if it takes a little bit of the fabric with it. You've finished your hooking. That should come off quite easily. And the next thing you need to do is think about how you're going to back it. Now, on this occasion, I'm going to use some fleece to make a heart-shaped panel for the back. Before that, we need to secure the stitching that you've already done. So I don't know if you can see, I've drawn a blue outline roughly about 5 centimetres further round. So the next thing to do will be to cut your excess away. Now, to make it easier for you to see what we're going to do, I've got a partially completed project next to me, which I'll show you. So, this was the blue edge. This is the area that had been hooked. So what you're aiming to do is turn over the hessian so there's no raw edges and stitch it as you go around. You may need to trim some pieces, do a little bit of folding, but it means that there's no raw edges. The next thing you can do is trim your piece of backing. Use your template that you had originally and check it should actually fit. Yeah, that'll be fine, that should fit on there. What I'm going to do with this being heart-shaped, I'm going to just put some glue and some extra piece of hessian on this central area so that it doesn't fray, because we don't want to lose your nice hooking. So you would fold it over, put some extra hessian on and let it dry. So once that's dry you can trim, and then once that's dry you can then stitch your backing nicely round to your piece of hessian. What I've also done while that was drying, I've stitched my cord onto the back because I'm going to hang my heart up. This is quite a long string, but I've stitched this on so that when I go around with a nice strong thread around the outside, this is going to hang up quite nicely. I'll show you my original. You can use whatever stitch you like. I've used a blanket stitch on here. Forgive the little threads, they all come off, and you can turn it over and you could hang up your decoration.